Hello, my name is Charlene Silva, and I am here today to talk to you about the impact of cell phones in Kenya, Africa. Cell phones were introduced to Kenya, Africa within the last decade, give or take. Now, currently there are millions of cell phone users, but just to put it into perspective, about 6 years ago, there were not even a million cell phone subscribers. So if that gives you any indication of how quickly this phenomenon has grown, pretty quick. In the early days, like much of technology, cell phones were very expensive for people to own and use. So in the late 1990s, we do see cell phones were kind of making their way a little bit more mainstream into the Kenyan market. Now, Kenya is home of two major cell phone providers, Safaricom and Celtec. Safaricom is really considered the better option, and about 60% of the population chooses to go with them. They're owned by Telkom Kenya Limited and established in 1999 and are entirely owned by the Kenyan government, who really aims to provide world-class service, the highest level of effective, sustainable cost, effective devices and usage, with good quality and just reliability. Now, the other 40% of people choose to go with Celtec, and Celtec is owned by Vodafone AirTouch, which is sister partner company is Verizon Wireless, and with them they can do a monthly bill or a pay-as-you-go to get minutes like that. Some of the benefits of them are you get lower tariff rates, exclusive devices as far as devices that are being able to be used, and a really good rich global network. So should you travel outside of Kenya, they're really going to provide probably the best service at that point. Now, the price of being connected, and this is roughly in US dollars, is about $1.50 to $2 for a starter kit, which sounds really cool. But with that, you get a SIM card. You still have to provide your own equipment, so you have to get your own cell phone, and really that's the most expensive part. Now, once you have your cell phone and your SIM card, you can start adding airtime with as little as, again, the equivalent of about 50 cents to get your airtime started. Now, having a cell phone does not necessarily mean that you are able to make calls. Different people use them for business and personal reasons, and a lot of the SMS or text messaging is something that's really utilized. Something else that's really utilized is called flashing, or beeping. And that's when you let the phone ring 1 or 2 times. They can see that they have a missed call from you. If they have airtime, they can choose to call you back. But it's also a way for you to just kind of say hello, or I'm thinking of you. And in Kenya, it's kind of phone etiquette that people are able to communicate that way so that they can let people know that they are thinking of them. And very interesting, positive, unintended consequence that I read about was in 2009, a political communication magazine looked at a time frame between 1999 and 2006. And it looked at the relationship between the number of people in a country with access to a cell phone and the levels of perceived corruption. Now, we say levels of perceived corruption because one person's corruption is another person's true business expense. So we say perceived corruption just to kind of give us a handle on what it is we're talking about in this case. Now, corruption thrives in secrecy cases of corruption increase when a group has access to greater information that other groups do not. So with the use of cell phones, it makes it easy for ordinary citizens to fight corruption. They can contact reforms, government officials, news media outlets, and really have a voice so that they can be heard when it comes to things that they are seeing that doesn't really feel right. Now, who would imagine getting a cell phone or putting a cell phone in people's hands would give them that much power? Another thing is mobile phones are becoming the new PCs of Africa, and when you really think about it, it does make a lot of sense. So there's no electric bill that you have to worry about of running the electricity to your computers. There's no concern about the infrastructure being correct so that you actually have service within whatever building you're in. And as far as the coverage that we use for cell phones, they use 2G and 3G service, which actually covers about 96% of Africa, which means you're going to be in an area of coverage more likely than not. A lot of the current phones they use are the low-end Nokia bar phones, but they're moving into a little bit more fancy phones with smartphones, Blackberries, etc. So they're making their way into that. In 2007, the president of Rwanda stated that in 10 years, what was once an object of luxury and privilege is now a necessity in Africa. So when we look at how this relates to the broader development of the country overall, there's a few things that I'd like to discuss. The banking, the way that it's changed the banking for people. People are now able to pay their bills online. People are able to manage their finances online, send money to relatives and friends, knowing that it'll get there because it's guaranteed and they're able to see the money move. Activism. In 2011, we all know that Egypt had a very interesting coup occur, and it was to the point on January 2008, January 28th, 2011, they had to pull the plug on the cellular network in Egypt because so much activity was occurring. It started to make them very concerned about what was happening. People are able to repost violent things that they see via text message, send pictures to the media, just really have an unpredicted level of openness and transparency when it comes to the electoral process. And truly, the normal person can be involved in this process and understand what's going on. Entertainment is a huge one. Everyone loves their entertainment. Americans aren't specific to that, right? So they can download music, movies. They're also able to get gossip websites and see what's going on in the world. Disaster management. Innovative usage for refugee camps allows displaced people to reconnect with their family. Refugees are really able to build and register who they are online so that their friends and family can find them in case they really need to. Agriculture is another huge one. Huge difference for farmers. Weather sharing information, market prices, so that they can really own their own business and make smart business decisions when it comes to, should I sell this here or should I go 2 miles down the road because I'm going to get a better market price. It also allows them to get farming tips and just pieces of information that help them be more successful in their field. Also, in addition to that, health. That's a huge one, the healthcare system. They're able to use text messaging, and they've set up an SMS text messaging system code because about 30% of drugs in developing countries are fake. And in 2009, nearly 100 babies died from teething medication that contained antifreeze. So they're able to set up a unique SMS text code that gives them information so they can check their prescription to see if the medication they are going to take is real or fake. It also allows them to get health tips, lifestyle tips, test results for HIV. It allows them to go in and feel more comfortable knowing that their results will be sent to specifically them and not everyone will broadcast the information. Even reminders for doctor's appointments just to let them know to keep track of their health. Now, as you can see, cell phones have really made a big deal and a big impact for Africa. It's definitely growing. All of the negative unintended consequences that we all know as being tied to our cell phones will definitely happen. Worrying about people being able to communicate face to face and, needing their phones and being dependent on them. But as it currently stands right now, there's so many benefits that we are seeing coming from the technology within Kenya, Africa. And again, I hope to see it grow and I hope to see all the positiveness of it. Well, that's what I have to say, and I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. Thank you very much.